Hello, welcome to my sketchbook. My name is Sarah, and I like to doodle, and I especially love fountain pens. And something that I do to stay off my phone and keep my hand warmed up is to do these little comic books / box spreads of my life. So we're on year 2 of doing this, and you can see in the comments, you can see in the body of the video links to other sections that I've walked through. I like to take about a quarter at a time, make a nice 20-minute talk through, and that way you won't be too overwhelmed. So on this page, we're trying some pens, including the Waterman Karen, the Vanishing Point, the Bennu Euphoria, and a couple sailors, and then lots of inks like Diamine Writer's Blood, Raikucha, Noodlers, Robert Oster. You can see how all these work out on the page. Now, if you see the desk moving around a little, I have to apologize. I'm not at my desk because I hurt my knee and it hurts to sit for too long with it bent. So I'm actually reclined and on a little lap desk. So it wiggles sometimes, and I hope you can forgive me. So let's get started. Here's the first page, and I just absolutely love how these streamers came together. It was a little bit based on real life. This is what the bottom of a balloon looks like in the house. And so I just added these curly cues and stuff. Then we've got Opalite from the Taylor Swift video that released around the time I was drawing this. And in this section in particular, I was really interested in women's hair and just drawing these different textures of how it falls on our heads. Some of this stuff is kind of real life like that, and then some, would be kind of made up like this, where I tried to come up with a fun drawing prompt for my kids and I to do. And so out of nowhere, I was just like, you know what? Draw a fish baking muffins. My kids' version was really good too. And then this was just kind of like a beautiful book cover from my imagination of Doom. Oh, and this was the Waterman Karen and F-nib and Diamine Writer's Blood. And this actually ends up being the ink that I keep in this pen now. I really like how wet it is, even though I'm not much of a purple person. This is the Crosshatch E95S from Pilot in M-nib and Noodler's Brown 41. And so there isn't really a rhyme or reason with how big or what size boxes I do. It just changes with each one. We've got this eye lady is back. I don't know why. She was in the second section in this as well. And then some apples. This is my son indoor rock climbing. And then a little diner. Some soup. This looks like a jail cell, but I think it's actually like a Minecraft room. My kids playing Minecraft. You can start to see there's going to be some holes on the side. This is where a popsicle was pushed in here at a family party that I was at. And I really handled it pretty well because I think using a physical media, you just have to embrace the fact that something could happen to it. You could lose it. It could get knocked out of your hand. I've had people at a different table in a cafe spill their drink and it spilled onto my thing. So I just know that I do this because I'm putting these skills into my hands and I'm taking it with me. So I love my books, don't get me wrong. I keep them in a special spot in my office and I'm really proud of them. But I've worked consciously on not having a hang up around losing them or damaging them because this is just what life is. We're here to be used to the fullest extent and enjoy and see and experience everything. So here's another fun one. This is the Birch Vanishing Point in a Fine with Nostalgic Honey. And then I switched the same ink and switched pens to a crosshatch with a medium nib. We've got a little Shakespeare, some medieval themes. I had fun with a grid background on these things. Like I just drew the grid, in the background. Working on some patterns, a little animal, lady. This I've I've re-engaged with my love of Mystery Science Theater. So we've got some characters from that and some scenes from that came up a bit. Now we've got the Bennu Euphoria Matcha with Sailor Raikucha. And this is probably the thickest nib that I like to use on this. I love using this nib to draw in here. Got some Vikings in a Hall Tower Gigi from Kiki's Delivery Service. And this is Muta from, oh, what's it called? The Cat King, something like that. The Cat Returns. And these were all cats from that movie. It was fun. This is another horrendous portrait of my husband. This is a random lady, but it ends up looking like a very sick Angelina Jolie. And then this is a little piñata that was on a sticker my son had. Crosshatch in Document Black, another distinctive one. This is an image from a new sticker that I got. Look, oh, this section got so beat up. This was even ripped off, and I had to repair it with some tape. A beautiful fish on the wall. This is kind of reliving a vacation because we were on the beach and saw birds. I got a sticker that had kind of a medieval lady on it. It was really cool. And then a fish on the wall, I already mentioned. Kind of inspired by Micah Oatley again with the Cat Collage Club. And then some scenes from Mystery Science Theater. It's just really fun. The Spring Executioner. Gizmonic. All right, next up we got kind of a combo page because I'll start with one thing and then either run out of ink and not want to refill it or just change pens. So this began with Diamine Writer's Blood in the Karen and then ended up with Diatramentis Document Dark Green and an Opus 88 with a EF nib. This is the logo from our piano. This is Mimikyu, a little Pokemon. This is my mom sitting on a comfy couch. Some birds. All right, for this one, double pen again, double ink. So I started with the crosshatch in a bold, which I actually sold because I wasn't using much, with Robert Oster Soda Pop Blue. And then I switched over to the Karen and F nib with Massachusetts Noodlers for a couple of them. And then I switched to the crosshatch E95S and the extra fine with Cioro. So this one is the Soda Pop. And then just like these three are the Noodlers. And then the rest is the Cioro. But this was a particularly nonplussed singer on NPR's Tiny Desk. I thought it was really funny how not into it he was from being on such a big show and seemingly having such a breakout moment. And then this was just really fun. It felt like elegant to have this hand with a thread draped on it, but the thread is a spider web. I don't know. Another favorite, this was the Asagao from Iroshizuku in the Decimo with a fine nib. We've got a Kiss the Chef seal who's selling muffins. Why not? Some envelopes, some patterns, some amoeba. Just a beautiful little window scene. That was really satisfying to look at. And then Lord of the Rings, we've got, kind of at the end with Mordor, we've got the huge eagles, spoiler alert, and then people kind of hanging on to it. This is a scene from one of my favorite restaurants. They've got tennis rackets as a separator with some plants on it. And this was a little logo from a chocolate that I got. It was really delicious, and then it helps me remember that fun date day. This I really enjoyed. This is the Pirate's Life pen with an MF nib, my first MF nib from Sailor. I really enjoy it. And it's Sailor Raikucha ink. And this is a lot of beach stuff. This is basically all my beach memories. Got my foot in the sand. On the way there was a person like selling food truck style stuff at a gas stop. So I kind of caught this memory of a person waiting in line and the shadows and everything. Right when we got to the beach, the kids just ran and started digging. It was so beautiful. And there were so many dolphins. We had to Like it was dolphin overwhelm. And then I drew a pirate's life and like a little pirate coin, my son, some decor, the beach line. Love it. Now we got Lamy Yellow in an EF. It's just a yellow pen. And then Dominant Earl Grey. This was a fun surprise ink. It looks a lot like Diatremant's Diamond Deep Dark Orange. But we had a park we went to, kind of had a family day. And I sketched while we were there. And just lots of texture. I really enjoyed, literally, like that's another thing I love about box spreads in this comic book format. It's just pleasurable to run your pen on the page. So sometimes I'll just do patterns and hatch marks, and it doesn't matter. This is just for me. I tried my best to put a different ink in the daisy. This is the 1911L from Sailor. I just like deep dark orange in this pen, so it's been very hard to have a different ink. But this is Kozumosu in the pen, and it makes it much wider, which was surprising. We've got kind of a Daniel Tiger situation up here. My feet. This is hard to see, but it was a walker in front of a door. So this is one of the things I want to work on, is like foreground and background kind of stuff. How I could have made this pop more out front. This is a shelf in my house. These were from YouTube videos I was watching, the hosts. And then lips got interesting. Next up, we got the Waterman Corinne with Writer's Blood. And these were all just some mini imagination. This one is the Apple like background screen thing that comes up. There's these seals just playing around. And this was a new comic book my son's been reading. That character's from it. And then I made up the other ones. Got a little nature scene. This ended up being a random woman. I was practicing having the crosshair to draw the face to be more consistent with how my faces look. And it ended up looking like the daughter on Transylvania, the animated movie. It's funny. Got a dinosaur, an eye, a little airport scene. All right, bringing back Asagao. All right, now another page of Asagao from Iroshizuku. It just pops off the page. We've got two views of my husband, very unflattering views. I don't know why I do this. And then more scenes of just things around me. This one was made up. This one was really fun. I was getting a pedicure on our vacation, and this bird flew up with a pile of moss and started making a little nest with another bird. And then, like, they obviously had that chore to do of go out and find the moss, but then they just sat there for like 45 minutes. And it made me wonder, like, how birds decide what to do all day. Do they know when it's chore time or rest time? Or is there some kind of natural response? I don't know. I'm very curious how birds decide what to do all day. Some more themes and just trying different approaches, some more hair. And then this was, I think this was a painting at the pedicure place. And I was just really smitten with the way this dress looked on the back, and then, subtly turning the head to the left and what that looked like. All right, and for the next page, as we get towards the end of this, I tried something different. I tried to keep it weird. I wanted to see what it would be like. I had a lot of feelings bottling up about like chronic illness and like pain and stuff. And so I tried to think, if I had to summarize the experience in 4 panels, like what that would look like. So these ended up being bigger. I'm just really taken with how this scream ended up. We've got kind of hips. I used a reference for drawing the hip and tried to work on my line work. It's very shady line work that I'd love to keep working on. And then we've got kind of a bed and just like a dark room. This one kind of speaks to the sense of lost time that I have. It just feels like a lot of life when you could be doing these important things. For me, that's taking care of my house. It's never quite where I want it to be as far as decluttering and organizing because life's so busy. And then to have these wide swaths of time where I just have to like lie down and be in a dark room. Oh, and this one kind of speaks to the pain going on. And then we've got the overwhelm of like medicine and expenses and just trying these different things. And sometimes it works one day and not another. And your body changes every day. Everything. All right. And then that really brings us to the end of the book. I did one more section with 4 panels. This was also inspired by Micah Oatley from Cat Collage Club, where she's been doing like a 1 comic a day kind of thing. I was inspired to think maybe I could do that. This was really fun as a challenge, but I don't think I'd want to do a whole book for this because one of the main things I love about this format is getting lots of tiny little practices and tiny memories. So to have to kind of pick one for the day, I understand that as a fun challenge, but I'm not sure that's for me. So I'm glad I tried it here. This was a pizza, a little girl, a cat, and then a scene from my office. All right, for this one, a bit different of a format. I had to snap some photos of the pieces that I finished. But we've got some people that I watched on YouTube, some different patterns. Right in the middle on the left side, we've got my favorite shirt that I wear just all the time. And some florals, and then a self-portrait from a photo that we took. The next one on the left, you can see this really funny bird. It was a video of a bird seeing a butterfly for supposedly the first time. And I thought it was really cool. And we've got a nature scene with some mushrooms, a setting on the left side, kind of a lower left. We've got a person bending over in a chair. And above that, a series of chairs. On the right, just some patterns and people and trying some new things. All right, this next one, this was a finer pen. This was the Pilot E95S and an extra fine, the CO rail. And again, I just see that pattern that I really like, a thinner nib. It allows me to add a lot more detail and just go crazy on textures and stuff. So I really like that. And maybe particularly this one on the left side in the middle. It's like this medieval hallway with torches and stuff, and then some arrows under it. That was really fun. Right, this next one, we've got that bold Noodlers, Massachusetts with the Stormy Seas sailor nib. And again, this one, it just makes every stroke feel really permanent and decisive. And I just love it. So lots of patterns. The top middle is a YouTuber I follow. And then I just made up someone for the fun fact. And then the final of the photos, we've got this hot, hot pink Birmingham Pen Company saltwater taffy, all-time favorite, and the silver vanishing point with a medium nib. And again, I just kind of dumped my brain. I let the pen tell me what to draw. Some really fun, cool patterns came out. And the bottom left, I drew my son. We were sitting on the couch chatting. And a cute snake, and then just filling in lots of patterns. And there you have it. That is incredible. We have finished another book. 2025. Locked up. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear if one popped out at you or if you've tried doing a couple of these. We all need to unite in our kookiness and find every excuse to draw and be creative. And I can't wait to start the 2026 book and what that might look like. So thanks again for watching.